Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report, your go-to source for all the week's gaming news, nerfed into one show once a week, so you can worry less about reading the news and get back to playing those video games. And of course, on this week's episode, with the dust of E3 finally settled, we take one last look at this year's show to see who the biggest winners and losers truly were. But before we talk about any of that, your top headlines. First up this week, what if I were to tell you that one of the most anticipated games of all time, a game that is a sequel to one of the most groundbreaking video games ever, may have just had its release date leaked? And just so we're all on the same page, no, we are not talking about Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We're talking about The Last of Us 2. During an interview with Brian Foster from Critical Role, Ashley Johnson, the voice actress of Ellie, was asked,
Can't let you out of here without, we have to touch on, because we can't fully discuss, so let's touch on The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
When does that come out, by the way? I keep writing on your Instagram, every time you post a photo.
Brian F. Foster, do you have any idea what you've just done? You just prevented the single biggest leak of all time. And I hope you're proud of yourself. Because now people like me have to reverse engineer what she was going to say. What could it be? Friday? Father's Day? Fat Tuesday? Faux Fur Friday? Fire Prevention Day? Free Balloon Day? Friday the 13th? What could it be? If only there were a month that began with the sound. Next up, while we were covering E3 last week, Google held a Stadia Connect, in which they dropped some massive news about their upcoming streaming service, Stadia. Google plans for Stadia to make gaming more accessible for everyone by allowing video games to be streamed from the cloud to smartphones, tablets, PCs, and televisions. The service will require a minimum of 10 megabytes per second for 720p resolution, 20 megabytes per second for 1080p and 60 frames per second, and 35 megabits per second for 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. Stadia will initially have two plans, a Pro membership for $9.99 a month and a free membership launching in 2020. Google also used the Connect to announce the Stadia Founders Edition, which includes a limited edition Night Blue Stadia controller, a Chromecast Ultra, 3 months of Google Stadia Pro, a 3-month Stadia Buddy Pass, and Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. The Founders Pack can be yours today for $129.99. Apex Legends! It has been 3 months since the Battle Royale's first season of content titled Wild Frontier launched. And during EA's EA Play event, gamers were given their first look at the Season 2 of content, Battle Charge. During Battle Charge, Apex Legends will be getting a new weapon in the form of L-Star, new legendary skins, and a new legend called Watson. Watson is a defender who uses her electricity to dominate the Apex games. Watson features special moves like Perimeter Security, which creates an electrified fence that damages enemies. The Spark of Genius will fully charge your ultimate ability, and the Interception Pylon will destroy incoming ordnances and repair damaged shields. Season 2 Battle Charge and Watson will be available for all Apex players on July 2nd. Finally, speaking of Battle Royales, Fortnite has a limited time mode going on right now. The new mode, titled Horde Rush, is a 4-player co-op mode, where you and your squads must defend designated areas across the island. Players must face waves of multiple fiends, all the while collecting weapons, items, and building materials. Once all of the locations are defended, a final boss will spawn, which the team must quickly defeat. Horde Rush is available for a limited time right now for all Fortnite players.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
E3, the biggest week in the world of gaming, has come and gone. And despite the absence of Sony, this year's show was pretty solid. I mean, we had the announcement of a sequel to Breath of the Wild. Keanu Reeves is joining Cyberpunk 2077. Crystal Dynamics showed off their brand new Avengers game. And Dr. Disrespect flushed his career down the toilet. And while there was plenty of criticism for this year's E3 presentations, notably Xbox, it should still be recognized that they introduced a brand new console, Project Scarlet, 14 new first-party games, and expanded upon their vision of their game streaming service Project xCloud. So, even though they may have failed to capitalize on a PlayStation-free E3, they still had an extremely jam-packed conference. I mean, for me, one of the biggest takeaways was how many brand new games got introduced at this year's E3. On Monday alone, we had nearly 200, that's right, 200 brand new games announced. Games like Watch Dogs 3 Legion, Final Fantasy VII The Remake, Roller Champions, Gods and Monsters, Skatebird, Pistol Whip, Eggcorn, Attack of the Squirrels, Hotel Rock and Roll, The Sinking City, Just Dance 2020, Outriders, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. And honestly, I thought that this year's E3 was fantastic. It was filled with surprises, great games, and I'm sorry, I can't do this. You know, I can't stand here and pretend that I just witnessed the greatest E3 of all time, because the fact is we didn't. Ubisoft, half of your press conference was Tom Clancy games. Bethesda, your answer to solving Fallout 76's problems is a battle royale game? And Xbox, what the f*** were you thinking? Sony was nowhere to be seen. And somehow you still Xboxed it up. And I swore that all the negativity was completely gone. Like the day that I stopped streaming, it was gonna be positivity from here on out. I can't just stand here and let you all get away with it. You've made a big mistake. Huge. Let's do this. Y'all thought I was dead the whole time, but your boy's back. Get ready. E3 2019. The biggest question was who would lead the conference king. Was it Bethesda, Microsoft, or Ubisoft? Or like Sony was I just left in the dark. This just in, Xbox's new console, Avengers, the game looks pretty damn awful. Now, we're just kidding, it looks fun. But Tony Stark has had way too many Cinnabons. I mean, seriously, what is that? You looked at that and said, that's the best that I can do. Seriously? Get hyped, Banjo's coming to Smash. But Witcher 3 for the Switch, I'll take a pass. Bethesda, wow the world with a new Doom. And Doc got caught filming in the bathroom. Welcome to the Champions Club. Who wants to take a photo with the two-time? What's that? There. Animal Crossing's coming to Switch. Which is cool because Nintendo fans can no longer bitch. We got xCloud, Forza, Assassins, and Zombies, and Cyberpunk as Keanu Reeves. Cyberpunk! Whoa! You're breathtaking! Radical! Finally, let's talk Sword and Shield. More specifically, how is this game even real? New Pokemon, the size of skyscrapers, it looks like you drew them with some crayon and paper, and please, that's not a diss. I just can't believe I've waited 5 years for this. And Xbox, let's talk Infinite. How you gonna drop a trailer with no action in it? Ubisoft, I hear you laughing, but you ripped off Zelda and actually seem kinda proud of it. Bethesda, suddenly you've got the answers. Here's a new game for you, it's called Cancel. Hell, after this year's show, we should just cancel all their asses. Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, Ubisoft, you've all been canceled. And finally for this week, we come to... That noise, of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call... every single week. We have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying. And honestly, my goal used to be don't die before the 100th episode. And now that I've got a brand new rap career, I think the goal should be don't die until I get a Grammy. So with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock for the noise. And go. Konami introduced a brand new mini console. The DualShock 4 controller and the Xbox One controller are both compatible with Apple Arcade. That's really cool. Surge 2 got a brand new trailer. Destroy All Humans is getting a remake. Fortnite is getting a Stranger Things crossover event. And speaking of Stranger Things, the Stranger Things RPG game is coming to mobile in 2020. Jumanji is getting a video game, which might go down as the weirdest headline from this week. The Uncharted movie will be releasing in 2020. Can't wait for that. Fallout Shelter is playable on a brand new console called Tesla? That must be a rich person's thing. I'm poor. Grand Theft Auto Online is getting an in-game casino. That's cool. And finally, Netflix has acquired the rights to a Division movie starring none other than Jake Gyllenhaal. 1 second under the clock. But that is it for Nerfed in 60 seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and please share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappel. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching.